Hi, my name is Andrew Sears. I'm the president of City Vision University, and I'm excited to talk with you about the updates we've recently done to our nonprofit fundraising course. The biggest part of the update is we've created a self-paced version of the course that's going to be offered every term. The reasons that we did this, as we talked with development teams and development staff, we realized that they're really busy, their time's really valuable, and they have a wide range of experience in different domains. So because of that, it makes more sense to have a self-paced project-based course where they can kind of adapt and do the work that fits within their schedule. The other thing is we realize that offering courses once a year doesn't fit into the needs of development departments. That's why we're offering it every term. So here's if you are familiar with our older course, what we've done is we've moved just about everything in the course into the final project, and you'll work on the final project each week. So the whole course is based around the final project. And then we used to have discussion forums like our other courses. So if you're familiar with our courses, this will not have any discussion forums. What we've done is we've pushed that information into an organizational profile in the final project. And a big part of the course is going to be, you should think of this almost like you're working with a fundraising consultant, and your faculty member is your consultant. So you're going to be having one-to-one consulting sessions with a faculty member rather than group live meetings. So designing a course like this is kind of high risk, but also it can have really big benefits. So the big benefit is we want to make really good use of your time and adapt to your schedule. The risk is that some students may get behind. There's also a risk that some students may think self-paced means you don't have to do as much work. It's actually kind of the opposite. So if you're doing self-paced, it's more like a project you'd be working, with at your work, where you're working with a consultant. And if you're paying a consultant a lot of money, you're going to be providing them with work products to evaluate that you invest a lot in. So view it more through that framework. So with this, I want to kind of explain a little bit about how this course relates to product-based consulting models. So some of you know my background. I went to school at MIT. I had a .com for a while, and I have a really strong background in innovation. Now, if you look at the whole world of consulting, there's millions of people who make their living off of consulting, but that business model really is kind of limited to it's always hourly. So the value is it's dependent on consultant hours, and in the fundraising world it might be $100 to $300 an hour, depending on who you're working with. But the biggest innovation that's happened in the consulting space is this, what's called a product-based consulting model. And essentially what you're doing is you're leveraging your hourly time by working with a product. So most often this is done in software. So you have software that's working with a software consultant. So some of the big companies like Oracle and others, my wife works for UCSD, and Oracle's doing this, I don't know, probably tens of millions of dollars a year project for them. And they're starting with a product, but the consultants are able to provide a lot more value because the value they're providing isn't just the consultant hours, it's the value of the product. So there, if you actually look at what the total value provided, it's in many cases might be worth more than $1,000 an hour. So why do I explain all this? You're like, okay, that's interesting. The whole point of this is if you understand that, you understand how we've designed this course. So this course is designed as a product-based consulting model. So instead of the product being software, the product is the course content, and the consultant is the faculty hours. So what's the point of all this? So the point of all this is I want you to understand how to succeed in this course. So our faculty and the course content can serve as highly leveraged consultants to you if the reality is you got to do the work of the course. So unlike software, where the product's just going to be there, for you to get that extra value, to get a lot more value out of this, you got to do the work of the course. So the other thing you got to realize in this course, our faculty are serving at a tiny fraction of their normal hourly rate as an act of service to you. So part of what I'm asking you to do is respect their time. They're going to put a lot of it into this, so just respect their time. So how to succeed in this course? Because it's self-paced, the biggest risk is that you'll get behind. Self-paced doesn't mean you just wait until the very end to do everything. And right now we're not going to have policies to drop people who get too far behind, but we probably will in the future, and we'll figure out what those will be. But the point is, you need to set milestones, and generally, so what we're going to ask you to do is to set milestones before the one-to-one consulting session. So, and that's after lessons 1 and 2 through lessons 5 through lesson 7, and when the course is completed. So what you need to do is, in one of the first assignments, we're going to have you set dates where you're setting that. If you think that this is going to be the type of course where you just turn in everything at the end, you probably should just stop taking the course right now, because that's not fair to the faculty member. The whole point of this course is that you're going to have these big check-in points that I'm identifying here with the faculty member. They're going to provide you written feedback, but they're also going to talk through any issues that you have. In the course, you should also realize that there is a hard deadline for all work to be completed to receive a grade. Now, you're going to have grades for each lesson, but you have to turn in everything. So while we say it's self-paced, you have to turn in everything on the day before the next term starts. Now, in most terms, we're going to try to open this up about a month before the term starts if we can, but you have to have everything turned in by then. So the other thing I just want to emphasize is treat faculty time as if you were working with a highly paid consultant. So if you're paying a consultant, and I've had consultants that charge me, an insane hourly rate because they're good. And whenever they do that, I always, if they give me homework to do, if they say read this thing, I'm thinking, okay, if I read this, then I have an hour that I can ask them questions, then I'm not going to spend, if they're billing me $400 an hour, and I've worked with some consultants there that are like that, I don't want to ask them dumb questions in that time. I want to make sure that I've done my homework, so to speak. So it's kind of the same thing for you. So it's also the same in terms of providing them with work that's as excellent as possible. If you're paying a consultant $200 or $300 to give you feedback on a fundraising plan or on a grant or something like that, you're going to try to provide the best quality to them as possible. So, like I said, if you do the reading and videos, that's going to make better use of faculty time. Now, the reason why we make this self-paced is some of you are going to be pretty experienced and you already know half the material in this course. So there may be some elements of this that you can, skip over. We're treating you as responsible adults, but part of this is that you got to be, responsible in that. So the other bits is, so you're going to have one-to-one meetings with your faculty member. Do that several days after submitting your work, because you need to give them time to review your work, provide feedback, and you to have time to read that. And that's one of the other things is read the faculty member's feedback generally before you're going to meet with them, and address their feedback in future revisions. Again, if you're using the model of, say you're paying a consultant $300 to give you feedback on a grant, but you just ignore all their comments, well, what's the point? Why are you paying them that money, right? So ultimately, that's what we're trying to do. So all that's just a bit of advice. I think that you're going to get a lot out of this course. I think my hope is that it will be one of the most valuable things that you've done in terms of your own personal development and your organizational development. And if you find it helpful, encourage other people from your organization to do this also. Thanks.